You ready? Well, let me start. Welcome, everybody, to the regular meeting of the Carouses Village Council. I'd like to ask everyone to put their phones on vibrate or turn them off, please, so we don't have any disturbance. And once you've done that, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, roll call. Councilor Miera.
Here.
Councilor Woolman.
Here.
Councilor Alsabrook.
Here.
Councilor Burkett.
Here.
Councilor Murray.
Here.
And is Councilor Knight hooked up? Councilor Knight.
Here.
All right. So everybody's here. I need a motion has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the agenda. Boy, she's nice and loud, isn't she?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, just be careful. It's a hot mic.
So moved.
I need a second, please, to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Not hearing none, the agenda is approved. We will move to administrators report. Mr. Curry.
Thank you, Mayor. First one up as usual is Tanya.
Well, I can't, there we go.
There you go.
Thank you, Mayor, Council Administrator Curry. Good to be here with you tonight. As far as COVID goes, we're still on that we're level. You know, the state has been decreasing, which is good. The CDC community map has actually gone to medium instead of high. The medical map is still at high. So the medium at least is much better than we were. But as far as Carouses, we're still hovering about 3 cases a day. And that's been that way almost all of August. We did have one day that was a big spike, but I think it was an anomaly. Maybe it was a family. I don't know. But we're averaging 2.78 cases right now. We're at 64 total cases for the month, which is going to be down from July and June both. So that's good. As far as our 5, 10, and 14-day average, they're still pretty steady, about the same. So we're just kind of in that plateau area, not spiking, which is good, but not completely leveling out. We did get 2 deaths in Sandoval County today that were recorded. Hospitalizations seem to be down as well. The school cases, though, are, school starting is going to pick things up. Rio Rancho already has 355 cases for August that have been reported. So they're averaging 15.4 cases a day, which will be their second highest case rate since I started recording in August of 21. So we're still there. Monkeypox in Mexico now has 19. The United States is still leading all the other countries in case counts. We're averaging between 400 and 600 cases a day in the United States. So that's not good, but they have released new vaccine that can be given intradermally. I believe they will eventually be opening it up to more populations. TPOXX, which is the antiviral, has been still not investigational use, compassionate use, because it was actually developed for smallpox. They've opened that up for children as well, because we have had some children cases, and we've had some in colleges in the Northeast now. So I know schools are also looking and planning for monkeypox. And then, of course, everyone's heard of the polio outbreak in New York. And we really don't know how long it's been here, because we haven't been able to see how many times the virus is replicated. But we do know that for there to be a case of paralytic polio, there's probably at least 200 other cases, and not everybody who gets polio gets sick. So that's one of the things that they're looking at. Still nothing on New York City has opened up polio boosters for everybody. Nothing in the state, but I know the state Department of Health is watching it as well as I am. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So Tanya,
Yes, sir.
is the recommendation for a polio booster here in
So-
Mexico?
No, it's not yet. And that's kind of weird. It depends on who you talk to. I know for a fact that in 2010,
Hey,
my, I had to get a titer labs drawn for everything because I didn't have a shot record and I was taking a class that also had clinicals. So when you have to do clinicals, patient care, you have to report all that. And my previous class, my MMR was out, so I had to get a booster, but my polio was good. In 2010, I didn't have any polio titer left, so I did get a booster then. I really recommending people talk to their physicians to see if they think they need a polio booster. Some physicians may say yes, some may say wait. I think it depends on risk and also where you're going. I mean, some countries still require polio boosters, and in countries where polio is still endemic, people get boosters about every 10 years. It's just what they do. So not yet. Talk to your physician, but it could be coming.
So what about monkeypox? You may have said this and I just didn't hear it.
So monkeypox, at the rate it's going, I think it possibly will become endemic to the United States because we do know that rodents are the harbinger. Like the last outbreak in 2003 came in from prairie dogs. So if it's gotten into rodent population, it could be. The state does, through the COVID hotline, the 188 number does take a list of people who want to get a monkeypox vaccine because they don't want to waste any. And each vial comes with 5 doses now. It was 1 dose, but now it's 5 because they're doing the intradermal unless you have certain conditions and can't get it. So they don't want to waste any. But the way the medical meetings I go to and all, I wouldn't be surprised if more and more people it won't be opened up to more and more people as it becomes more prevalent in society.
Any questions? Anybody else? Okay. Ron, do you have a question? Tanya, thank you so much.
Mhm.
We really like putting your notes on the mayor's message every week. I think it helps a lot of people understand what's going on.
On the animal services update, just wanted to give everyone a brief explanation as to where we're at right now. Steve Groman has begun the work on a site development plan for the complex here in the administrative area. And he's working on it based upon the structure by Horizon being from 12 feet by 40 feet. And with that structure like that, we're still within his initial look at the coverage on the administrative complex will be about at 20%, which is well within the 35% range.
It's going to be more than that.
And that's using the Horizon structure that's from Pennsylvania. And then once the site development plan is finished, it will go in front of the planning and zoning. And I think right now we're looking at maybe having it on the October meeting in planning and zoning. And that will be based upon the dimensions that we have, but we'll finalize them with the folks from Horizon. And we're looking at possibly housing 4 dogs at a time, maybe up to 12 cats. We're still looking at it. And then what we'll do then is we'll get the final quotes from Horizon. And then we'll make a presentation in front of Dennis Friends for the entire cost. And then one of the other things that we need to do, and there was actually a video that was available for people to look at, was we have to build the slab out there so that when the structure comes, that it can be put right into place. And the current estimates from Horizon at this point, or is that once they get the final order and we've done all of this stuff with planning and zoning that we need to do, we're looking at 2 to 3 months. So I'd say the worst case scenario would be spring of next year and hopefully sooner. But we wanted to make sure that we go through all the steps, especially the site development plan, and making sure that we were within the complex coverage.
Councilor Murray.
Thank you, Mayor, councilors. I really was hoping maybe we could have a little bit more of a discussion about this, especially when it comes to placement within the complex. I would prefer to have it see it up in the northwest sector, mainly because there's room up there Don't shake your head, Mayor, please, if you would.
There's not going to be any room up there.
How do you know until we
Okay.
investigate? it?
Good point. Very good point.
But,
There is a
mean,
site development plan up there
that-
that's available if you
I
want.
would just like to have a little bit more discussion amongst the council and your administration about this placement and the best place for it. And I think 4 dogs, maybe a little undersized, maybe. I was hoping maybe 5, because sometimes I think you can overflow that complex pretty quick. Now, that's just my opinion, but I'm not an animal services person, so I can't really answer that question. But anyway, just something that I would like to have seen happen. Anyway.
Yeah, Mayor, first of all, I very much appreciate all the work that's done on this. I know it's been a long time coming and a lot of work and thought has been put into it. And Melanie, I want to thank you very much for all the work you've done. I was hoping, I was surprised when I saw on Friday that it was part of the administrator's report rather than a full discussion. And I was hoping that perhaps in the next meeting and meeting thereafter in September, we could have a full discussion just with public input. I think that's really important rather than just administrative referral to planning and zoning and moving forward. So I would like to suggest we put that on future business, put that on for the next meeting. I would also suggest that a look be taken at the Northwest Fire Substation. There's about 4 acres up there. I know that the fire chief would like to have a fire training facility up there. And I think there might be room for both. One of the concerns about trying to shoehorn into where we are behind planning and zoning is that there are homes that are abut the village complex, both down by the senior center, by the community center, and by this building. And parking dogs can be a problem. That may not be a problem in the Northwest sector. So I would ask that before any final decision is made, that be taken into consideration. The other thing would be in terms of the numbers. If we were to have, one thing was mentioned in a previous meeting that there are only about 2 animals per week that come in over the course of a year. Turns out that day there were 3 in animal services housing, and the next day there were 4 more came in, kittens, et cetera. So the average numbers sometimes don't work. So there are, if there were 3 dogs in the runs at any given time, we must have seen at any given time 2 dogs running in tandem down the ditch bank of Loma Larga. So I would just suggest that in concert with Councilor Murray, that perhaps 5 should be considered. I don't know. I think that probably could be included in a 12 by 40 foot facility. And I know that the 40 feet is the most that they can ship. But I would also ask that not only for dogs and cats, but also an administrative office for animal services, where they can have a meet and greet area for people who either reclaiming or want to adopt some animals that are under their control, and also professional office that when people come, they feel comfortable, and volunteers who hopefully will be able to corral to help out the animal services officers will feel proud of when they come to the facility. So again, I would ask that if there's possible, we could put this on for a future meeting for a full discussion with public input.
Okay.
So great, thank you.
Yes, Rick. Council Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Based on everything that we just heard, I too would like to be able to take this a next step further. And I say next step because as you notice, we talked about public input. It's very important. That's the possibility that it might be going on the Northwest. That's my district. And so therefore, I certainly would want to have some discussion with my community on that particular issue, either here or at the facility itself. So we need some more time to be able to put that together. But to do that, we'd have to have a good amount of information so that we could share with the public at large and also the individuals who are residents right around the community, right around the corner from that. So with that in mind, we did talk about the earliest of spring or whatever, but I believe that we need to take our time with that, especially we're going to be looking at that northwest sector, need to have a lot of information with regards to if we did make it bigger, what would that be? And how do we take care of, as you stated, Counselor, barking dogs, et cetera. So I too would like to be able to have that public input, but I would like to take it one step further and be able to have the public input, not only here, if this were the meeting, would be during the meeting, but also be able to have public input at the facility itself, especially for the neighbors that live nearby to be able to put chime in on how they feel about the whole situation. So that's where I'm coming from District 1.
Yes, who else? Zach, Councilor Burkett.
Just briefly, it's rare that we have so many people wanting the village to slow down doing things, because usually it's the exact opposite. But if we are going to explore other potential options, I'm not sure what the cost of a site development plan is for down here, but it certainly seems like that may need to be paused so we don't waste time, energy, and money on something that may not be plan A if other options exist. So just in order to protect some resources, maybe we put a speed bump in front of that for a little while until we figure out exactly what we want to do.
Actually, it needs to be done regardless of that facility. And we can add that facility with just a little bit extra cost. That's not a
Okay.
problem. You know, and it's better to have the information, collect as much data as we can. Even though occasionally it does cost you money to get that. You know, we found in other in the past that it's helpful to have the information to make a better decision. And then you don't waste more money as time goes by. You know that.
And that's where I was coming
Yeah,
from. That was my
yeah.
statement.
Anybody else? Okay,
All right,
go to it, Ron.
the next, we have Champ and the fire chief to discuss large animals. What a nice segue.
Melanie?
Try it again.
Test 1, 2.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilors. Just want to take the opportunity to brief you on a training that we held on Thursday and Friday of last week. We put together a little slideshow just to show you, capture some of the events.
So hold it close.
Okay, there we go. So we put together a little slideshow together to capture some of the events during the class. So large animal rescue training, again, last Thursday and Friday. The class was fully covered by Champ, which we really appreciate. This, when we were asked if we can put together a class here in Corrales, since we're the horse capital of New Mexico, we were like, absolutely. And since it was funded by Champ, it opened up some different avenues for us that we've never really have done in the past, because it wasn't just like fire fund or a grant or something. So we were able to invite lots of other agencies to participate in this training. As you could see, there's a list of our participants. And so it was, you know, law enforcement, fire department, our local public works. We had the UNM consortium docs. We had Bernalillo County Animal Services that were going to be attending, but they had to back out last minute and they were really upset, but we said we'll do another one later on. Next. So just some photographs. We covered, you know, of course, safety, which is the number one thing anytime we go to an incident, especially involving large animals. Animal behavior, how to predict them, different things. Animal health, we learned basic evaluation. My EMTs, you know, are proficient in, you know, responding to EMS calls, but they got to learn, you know, how to assess an animal and identifying, you know, early on that we need to get the medical attention and get a veterinary doctor route. And of course, you know, some of the components to conduct a rescue effectively is, you know, ropes and knots, stuff that we learned in our typical search and rescue type stuff that we were able to be kind of mentors to some of the individuals in the class that had no experience in it. So there's the gym worked out great. We were very thankful to Lynn Sieverts for allowing us to use this gym. There's plenty of room and everyone had nice spacing and it was just very comfortable. So here's another picture of, you know, our trainer conducting, you know, telling us how to approach a horse and how to do certain things to evaluate their health. Picture of Albuquerque Fire Rescue with a stethoscope, listening to, you know, the belly sounds and stuff, which was really neat to learn. This one here is pictures where the individuals in the class got to learn how to, you know, handle the horse, the moving horse. You know, we led a couple of really well-behaved horses, but they wanted to run around in the arena, but the class was able to control them. And you could see on the left photo, there's a box, and that was their whole evaluation. They had to get 2 horses in the box in the arena, and they did it, and they completed it without touching them and no treats. So here is some pictures of some rigging that they had to do with ropes, and there on the right is one of our public works employees, Julian. So he was having fun and learning a lot. So we go down. Picture, and again, I didn't say in the beginning, but we had a couple of live animals that were participants, and they were nothing, we didn't harm the animals. And this horse is a mannequin that we were able to strap down to the sled there. So some more pictures of us having learning how to get a horse out of a trailer and in a trailer, and the team effort that it takes, because it's animals, you know, can weigh 1,000 pounds. So here, this was their final scenario to successfully complete the course. The scenario was conducted behind the rec center in the Acequia. We got permission from the Middle Rio Grande Conservancy. The horse was placed in the ditch. All the students were divided in 3 teams. We had a member that was in charge of the incident, and they had to prepare the horse, package the horse. So you had a team in the ditch. You had a team on top of the ditch that had to haul the horse up to the road. They had to then slide the horse on the sled about 100 feet, lower back into the ditch, raise on the opposite side of the ditch, and then haul it all the way around to the bridge and then back. And that was their final evolution. And everyone performed great, safely, and everyone completed the course. These are a couple of photos that we attached to the slideshow. A lot of people don't realize how many animal calls we do get. And you know, these are pictures of actual rescues that were here in Corrales. This one here on the left is a wild Mustang in an old septic tank that we got called out to assist Placitas with. And to the right, there was one of our Corrales crew members, and the other one was from Rio Rancho. You can see a specialized type training. We were able to successfully remove the Mustang out of the old cesspool. And on the right, you could see that once we released it from its harness, and it went on its merry way. So again, oh, here's some more photos here. Yep, they do sit down in their horse trough and get stuck. And the one on the right was a swimming pool here in Corrales, where the tarp was just kind of stepped on the tarp and it didn't hold the weight. So, and here's a great photo that we took that just shows how, you know, everyone in this training from different agencies worked really well together to accomplish one goal. And we hope that we can, you know, continue these types of trainings here in Corrales and provide that level of training and expertise. And I also want to give the mic to Patty from Champ, and again, just thank her for, you know, the support that we get from Champ, and we just really appreciate it.
Well, Champ is happy that we could be there to help out. I'm sorry to say it did come from the funds from the Rocky Reward Fund money, but we want to bring it back into the community. I was out there with some of them watching most of this training going on. It was pretty overwhelming. It was great. It was really neat to watch. Spoke to a couple of people in the class. One of them was a sheriff's lieutenant, I think, from Sandoval County, who thanked me over and over again because they need it out there. He's out in the Jemez.
Yeah.
I think he made a network of friends too. Some of our Champ people, the fire department saying, if we need help, can we call on you? So we'll be able to interact with everybody. One of the students is a friend of mine. She's also in the Albuquerque Fire Department, who Corrales Fire Department rescued her horse before. And she was very happy to be in this class and learn all this because she's had her horse down here too.
Yes, Anthony, we should do this every year.
If we can do it, we can do it. Well, if we do fundraising and when we get out of
If-
this
If
money.
we plan
and
it
do
long enough in advance, we can figure out the funding. That's.
They may even have advanced classes too, because you're gonna need some more advanced classes to go with it, because this is good. And the mannequin, hopefully maybe one day we'll be able to get a mannequin down here and work with it. But yes, complete the training and even follow, even if you just do a follow-up
Yeah,
training.
I think it's important for them to at least see it so that they're not totally intimidated by the concept of having to rescue an animal, a large animal. But
Right,
having seen it happen and done, they're more comfortable.
very
And,
much so.
Yeah,
And it was great that they had Public Works and everybody was in the village because you've got the hands-on.
Yeah.
Animal control, everybody that's gonna be part of it had hands-on with this. Tying knots, the works, and this can work for so many different things.
very good, very good. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think many of us remember the cow that wandered from the Pueblo of Sandia into the Rio Grande, but on average, how many large animals would you say you rescue in the course of a year?
Mayor, Counselor, it just depends. Last year, I think we got 2 horses in swimming pools in a matter of like 1 month. So, and that was rare. We started trying to think, okay, what do we need to do some public education on this? I mean, 2 horses in a swimming pool, but maybe 2 a year. And like the picture showed, it's not just Corrales. The word gets out, we participate. We are part of a team with Rio Rancho and Sandoval County, where if we get, a large animal, we can call out for assistance, because these types of incidents take a lot of hands, and there's a lot of jobs to do. But we go wherever. So,
I really appreciate it when you gave me the tour of everything, and the equipment that you have is pretty remarkable.
Yeah,
to
thank
be
you.
able To
Yeah.
work on that, so.
You also, dogs, cats, I mean, you've got, that was a large scale, but. Like that into the smaller scale with all the animals down.
We also have some very large dogs in the village. so
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Patty.
Melanie, do you want to say anything on the quarterly reports for the commission?
We did ask all the commissions to submit quarterly reports, so you can kind of keep up to date a little more so than just minutes from those meetings. And I did ask the commissions to include in that report if there was anything they need from you as the village council in terms of, resolutions or anything like that. And so they'll be doing those quarterly. So keep an eye out for those.
Thank you.
I have just 2 more things, Mayor. One is that we got news about 4:30 this afternoon to Reno Aragon, our finance director, that the budget that you sent to Santa Fe has been approved by the Department of Finance Administration. So
Good.
that's always
It's always good.
relief off of her shoulders, and you know how that goes, Counselor Miara. It's always good to see that they're awake up there. The last thing I wanted to mention, Mayor, was that we are starting to move into looking at the cost. We have some cost, but looking at actual cost of doing the demolition of the Jones property. And for 2 reasons, we want to, we realize there's a public health hazard as it sits there and people go in and out of it. We still have some people that are going in and out of it. We have some storage over there. We want to get that out of there, get it raised. And then we also want to begin considering what's going to come next. So we'll be back in front of the council here with perhaps some information or requests regarding some funding for that.
Yes, Councilor Murray.
Thank you, Mayor, councilors. Going back to the quarterly reports, I want to thank you, Melanie, for that, but I did find that planning, the Parks and Rec seemed to be a little light. All I saw was a basic statement in there, so I was just curious, did they have any activity over the past quarter, other than their basic statement?
That was what they sent. So
Well, we're in the process of the big gym, the new gym. So I guess maybe that's been their focus.
Well,
I
would've-
can't answer your question other than that.
Yeah, I would have thought I would have seen something from them about, where that's going, plus any other activities that maybe Parks and Recs is involved with. So I was just curious if, about that.
Okay. But is Lynn's not here? Yeah, okay. Yes, sir.
Mayor, Ron, I was wondering, we met probably, I think it was probably back in either late May, early June, out at Salsey Park, and we were going to look into the historic background of any restrictions on that land as a possible park. I was wondering if there's any update on that.
Not at this point. I need to visit with Lynn and get some more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
You done? Okay. So we'll open it up for counselors forum. If anybody has something they want to, yes, sir, Councilor Murray.
Thank you, Mayor, councilors. So given that the drought we're in is pretty extensive, I was just curious about, and I think I brought this up before, maybe not before you, Mayor, but maybe from past administration, is maybe having a program within the village about exchanging old toilets or any high flow device. Is there a way we could have some kind of a rebate mechanism? So if a person bought a low flow toilet or shower head or something like that, they could bring in the receipt and we could give them 20 or 25 bucks.
You mean from the village?
Yes. It'd be an exchange of, either they could bring the old toilet in, drop it off, or I don't care. But
Yeah, that's, there are rebates available from various places for things like that.
well, Albuquerque obviously does that.
No, they do it. P&M, they came out and did a lot of stuff at our house, brought us new shower heads, new lights, no cost to us.
Yeah.
But
But we
so,
can get
so
the word out.
those are available. Now, solar is a little expensive to have everybody to make, we can suggest, but I don't know how we would fund a rebate
Well,
because that's state and federal, actually.
I'm thinking more of protecting our water resources from the
Yeah.
wells and so forth.
I don't disagree at all. I just don't know that that's our level of jurisdiction. Counselor, you'll check into that?
Yes, Mayor, I can check into that. I think the main issue will be, for example, in Albuquerque, that process is done through the Water Utility Authority. So typically, if you're going to have that type of a program, it's associated with a water delivery system. So we are different than that in that we don't have a
Got it.
water system. So that makes it a little more outside of our normal scope. But I could take a look at whether or not that would be something we could do.
Just that, I think it's something that we should, I think Lori's already implementing this in terms of new construction and maybe the remodeling. But there's probably a lot of homes within the village where maybe we still have high flow, devices. It's just.
Yes, it's a good idea to investigate. And also at this point in time, since I'm talking, could you pull your microphone just maybe a little closer to you? Because with the mask on, you're kind of muffled and I have a hard time. My ears are old and I can't hear everything real well.
Well, you're not the only one.
Anyway, no, I think that's a good idea. And in fact, someone else sent us a suggestion to look into that. And I think Melanie we've told Laurie, we've commented to Laurie about it, and it's something worth evaluating. Whether we can do it, because potentially we could all of a sudden find out that everybody wants a new shower head or whatever. And toilets could get a little pricey. Anyway, yes, Bill.
Yes, Mayor, councilors, just a quick follow-up to Councilor Murray. There was a very good op-ed piece or column in the Sunday paper about 7 or 8 points on conserving water. New Mexico is falling down in any number of those. But one thing I want to just mention is compliments to the Interior Drain Committee and their description in the packet this week. Really extensive and very exciting potential, and I really appreciate what they're doing there. But thank you.
Yes, sir. Councilor Mira.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real quick point, I think maybe we all may have gotten the same note from a constituent. The signs that belong to the state of New Mexico that are up here, they got pretty well tagged up, but it's been tagged up for quite some time now. Do we have to ask the DOT to take care of that for us, or Are they even still doing those signs anymore? I've seen they're going down pretty much throughout the state, but this one here, it looks really bad when it's all tagged up the way it is. Is there just a request to DOT to refix it?
We can ask.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, is that all? Anybody else? Okay, so now we'll move on to Corleone's Forum. Melanie?
First up is Brian Whaley. And sir, if you can please state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, Brian Wally for 4358, 4372 Corrales Road, right next door here. I just had a couple of points of concern I wanted to bring up. First one being the glass recycling bin right here next door. It's a nuisance. It's been a nuisance. It's continuing to be a nuisance, and it's a growing nuisance. You're hearing glass dump all hours of the day. Sounds like space is a commodity, but maybe Jones Road, maybe the fire station, something like that, somewhere where there's not so much houses right around it. But yeah, the glass recycling, we have an elderly lady living over there as well. I work from home. It's just getting to be pretty annoying at this point. So that's my first concern, glass recycling, also the mess over here all the time with it. Second concern, after hearing about the animal shelter, animal services stuff over here, again, noise would be a concern for me. I don't know anything about these Horizon buildings, but I hope that, the noise control is something that's being considered with that one as well, since, you're going to potentially housing 4 dogs, if not more, if it doesn't get bigger on that one. So that's all I got. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Mr. Kurt Flora. Sir, if you can state your name and address for the record, you'll also have 3 minutes.
My name is Kurt Flora, 560 Andrews Lane, Corrales, New Mexico. For 4 years, I've been falling upon deaf ears, and when I bring this to the council, the evidence, the meeting minutes, and other documents that have been falsified or altered, maybe you just don't believe me, so I'll have to show you more proof, apparently. Well, before each meeting, Lori writes up the summary staff on the issues on issues. In November 2018, she gave her report to the commissioner to go over and he brought it home, Commissioner Soto. He read it. The meeting read it. And in the meeting, and a lot of other stuff was thrown in that meeting. It wasn't on the summary report or the staff report. One of the items I seen on the summary was Lori stating the plan was to test the waters with the gross versus net acre lot argument before making a subsequent submittal in the case of gross acre and was not allowed per the village attorney opinion received pretty subsequently. The village attorney did not state that. On November 29th through 30th, 2018, this summary report was altered to exclude the sentence about the village attorney and his opinion there. And a whole different summary report was written, including items that were not discussed until the meeting. So she could not have written this report at the time she said she wrote the report. She altered it in between November 29th and November 13th, 2018. And included other things on the report that were not on the report at the beginning. I have the 2 reports, one the original and the one altered. The way I can prove this is the statements of Commissioner Soto in the meeting. Commissioner Soto says, commissioners, one of the issues I have with this information is that's presented to us. I took it home, I studied it, I looked it over, and we have all different other information that is thrown in there. And the argument here is something about letters and this and that. And so it's very confusing. I'm going to vote against this motion. Okay. That's proving that the one summary report was not this summary report that she did after. 2 is the chair stated herself. In September meeting, I did not attend. I have minutes from, and I understand what you were saying about there being issues and you were not up on this. I'm not talking about you personally. I am talking about my feelings after I read it. Stating the summary reports were different. On February,
Thank you,
Uh,
Mr. Flora. That's your time.
may I have a couple more minutes?
No, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
so you got my point. that
You got your
minutes
point.
And all that.
Yeah.
are getting old.
Next up is Suzanne Huff. And if you could also state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes as well.
My name is Suzanne Huff. I'm at 560 Andrews Lane. And I want to bring up a couple of other issues regarding this. There were no dedications on any of the lots. And in addition, Lori leaving out what the village attorney recommends, which was to leave it 20 foot as a continuation of Huff Road. From the November 14, 2018 meeting, the then attorney, Mr. Chuck Garcia, states there are no dedications on the land. If there are no dedications on the land, and in this particular case, we're talking about lot 1, it's the only one to issue because there are no dedications on the land. There is a it meets the 1 net acre standard under the village code. Our attorney, Ms. Lopez, asked Mr. Garcia, can I ask you a question? Does it also meet the gross net acre standard under this particular ordinance? Mr. Garcia replies, I think so in lot 1. Net acres equals gross acreage because it's 1 acre. Ms. Lopez, and for the entire subdivision, as the ordinance reads, does it meet the gross acreage for the subdivision that's proposed? Mr. Garcia, for the remainder of subdivision lot 2, meets the net acre standard for the same reason. There is no dedication. Ms. Lopez, and lot 3 as well. Mr. Garcia, and lot 3 as well. Ms. Lopez, so net acres in this instance does equal gross acres in your opinion? Mr. Garcia, for this particular situation, yes. Later on in that same meeting, Mr. Garcia states, my understanding is Huff Road is a private road. It is not a public road. So it's presumably not a street. And the question I think for the commission is, when you look at the development of this 20-foot easement, is that a continuation of Huff Road? That particular statement was purposely left out of the minutes for that meeting. After this meeting, Lori sent an email to Tom Patrick, our surveyor, saying the village expects a 30-foot easement. She did not send this to us or our attorney, hoping that Mr. Patrick would just change it to 30 feet. Mr. Patrick knew that's not what was approved and forwarded that email to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Miss Janet Blair, representing the Corrales Equestrian Advisory Commission. And if you could also state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes as well.
Yes, Mayor, councilors, my name is Janet Blair. I live at 1224 Andrews Lane, and I am one of 2 co-chairs for the Corrales Equestrian Advisory Commission. And I wanted to give you just a brief report on the CHAMP and CEAC microchipping clinic for horses, which took place a couple of weeks ago. We consider it a rousing success. We had 16 animals microchipped. And the first thing that we had out of the gate were people asking us when we were going to do it again. This is an effort to make sure that all animals are easily identified, equestrians, especially in the case of an evacuation. And I guess we had more of a concern about the Bosque going up in flames earlier this year, but we still think this is a very productive effort. Champ, you want to say anything else? Patty?
We're here to support anybody, all the horses, everything. We couldn't do it as a free clinic. We did have, it was at a decent cost, a cut rate from the veterinarian that came out,
Dr. Drawley.
Came out, him and his assistant helped. And I charged him $55 of each horse. And actually, he was really good because he got some of his appointments done for the next week. So it was just a real hit. Everybody really liked it. Was asking for it.
Yeah, and thank you to the village for allowing us to do that at Top Form Arena. Another issue I would like to get on your radar is the upcoming Christmas season. The Corrales Fire Department starts its Christmas toy and food drive, usually the first weekend in November. That is also the time that SEAC usually hosts the Christmas de los Caballos Parade. We have not been able to do this because of COVID and other considerations. The main one being that we have to pay for barricades, we have to pay for insurance waiver and so forth. And we would like to petition the village for some assistance to get this done. The Christmas de los Caballos Parade is a lot of fun. I think Champ would agree. Yeah, everybody likes to dress up their equines, horses and mules and minis and draft horses and so forth. And it brings a lot of people into the village. It's a great kid favorite, I might add. It's not a wet parade. It's just horses all dressed up. We'd like to ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and the last person that signed up, I am afraid I cannot read their handwriting. Was there somebody else that had put their name on the list that has not been called yet? Okay, then I think we are done for the quarterly news form.
Mr. Curry has one more additional item he forgot to mention.
I just wanted to mention to the council that the title company is now in place for the Gonzalez property. And so we've moved to that stage of it, and they have about 3 staff that are going to be working with us on it. So it's all very positive.
Yes,
Mayor, I was wondering if we might have an opportunity to hear from the Gonzalez family sometime in the near future. We mentioned that in another meeting.
I talked to Alan last week, and he very much wants to do that. He just hasn't picked a time yet.
Good, thank you.
yeah, we'll leave it up to him if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Sure.
Right. Anybody else? Anyone else that we didn't get? No, okay. Anybody online? Okay.
Nope.
Let's move on to the consent agenda. So as you know, these are items that are not felt to be very controversial and can be approved by one motion. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion for and a second. Although there is no resolution in here. Oh, yes, there is. So the resolution for the fireworks renewal. I'd like to make just one brief comment. We're going to review the fireworks resolution this next month, and it's very close to being relatively safe to not have that resolution. So if you were considering that, then that's yes, we're doing that. Okay, so how do you vote, Councilor Miera?
Yes.
Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Councilor Alsobrook?
Aye.
Councilor Burkett?
Aye.
Councilor Murray?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to new
I
business.
vote aye as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Geez, Mel, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
You know, out of sight, out of mind.
I'm here.
I know, I hear you. Okay, so new business, consideration, action, and approval of resolution 2250, approval of overhead power line at 5801 Corrales Road. Do we have anyone to make any comments about that?
We do have Susan Hauser. Am I saying your last name correctly? From Iris Builders, right?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm representing Linda and Joe Rudolphi, who live currently in Illinois. Their family, John, lives here. He's a retiring vet and they're horse breeders. And they purchased property at 5801 Corrales Road with electric. And when the due diligence and they brought me in as a builder, we started looking at everything and we're taking down the adobe. It's structurally not sound. They want to put the property towards the back, have pastures up front. And P&M, I've been working about 8 months with both P&M and the Mid Rio Grande Conservatory. and everybody has approved doing a single pole over the ditch and then running it to the house versus P and M's first idea, which was to run it across underneath Corrales Road and then 5 poles going back to the property. And I was like, I don't think so. So I got everybody approval on that before bringing it before council and asking for a variance for the Rodolphis.
Okay. Anybody have a question? Councilor Murray.
Well, it's more of a comment. Thank you, Mayor and Councilors, because I was curious about why you were coming in from the rear versus coming across Cross Road. I didn't understand at the time that the house was being destroyed to be moved to the back.
Yeah.
I was more concerned about like, why didn't you bring it in from the front? So now that I understand that, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Anyone else? So do I get a motion to approve resolution 2250?
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution 22-50.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second? Okay, so I have a motion to approve resolution 2250 and a second. Does anybody have any other comment or a question? Okay. Councilor Murray, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Burkett?
Aye.
Councilor Alsobrook?
Aye.
Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Councilor Miera?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Knight?
I agree.
Oh, thank you. Oh, here, you're right here on this. Oh, yeah, Ron's got you. Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're able to work it out with P and M. Sometimes they can be difficult. Yes. Yeah, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Yeah. Well, be politically correct, yes. Consideration, action, and approval of liquor license application for O'Brien's LLC, but doing business as Casa Vieja Brewery and Wine Bar.
And I believe we have Mr. Dan O'Brien, Molly Smith, and Gary West here to answer questions for the council.
You want me, counselors, my name is Dan O'Brien. This is my wife, Molly. And with us is Gary West, our manager, and Gary Soha, who's selling us Casa Vieja. We've been going there for 3 or 4 years, and because of their family and Maria moving away.
Yeah.
It became up for sale, and so we're buying it. We're not going to change much, but we are going to be proud to own it. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Are you going to play?
You betcha.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions? John?
If that's in the application, I missed. I just wondered, do you have any prior experience owning an establishment that offers alcoholic beverages?
No, I'm an attorney for 39 years, and I do know about dram shop and defended cases like that. So I'm very sensitive to those issues, over service and all that type of thing. But I've owned my own law practice for 39 years, but not a bar. So it's a new thing for me and us.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, in the past, that facility has had a full service restaurant, and now there are food trucks.
Right.
Any thought about the food offerings that you might look at in the future?
Well, would we build a full kitchen and do it like the old days? Because I remember the old days, it was a terrific restaurant. That could be in the works. We're gonna start slow, try to do as good a job as Gary here.
Absolutely.
And then grow. We will open, I think we're gonna do a food truck Sunday brunch right off the bat. We're probably open to 10 on Fridays and Saturdays, an extra hour. But not a whole lot of changes, and try to do as good a job as the previous owners.
Well, good luck. Having owned a restaurant for 10 years, I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I need a motion to approve the liquor license application for O'Brien's LLC.
I so move.
Oh, very good. In a second?
Six.
In a second. So I have a motion for in a second. Last time. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anybody? Okay. Counselor Knight, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Miera?
Yes, sir.
Counselor Woolman?
Aye.
Counselor Alsobrook?
Aye.
Counselor Burkett?
Aye.
Counselor Murray?
You betcha.
Okay, I like that. All righty. So next is yes, sir, you sure can.
We're supposed to close on Monday. And so this approval needs to go up to the state liquor board so that we can get the license.
We'll sign it tomorrow.
Yep, I will get it. I will get it in the mail tomorrow.
Can it be couriered if we pay for it?
Hmm. I think so.
I don't have, all I do is sign it.
Okay.
How it gets there.
I mean, I drive it up there if that would be legal. I don't know why. it wouldn't
I don't
be.
see why it's not legal.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
there's,
don't know.
mean,
We would
the
have to,
postal workers, they carry it up
we
there.
would probably have to ask. I can also email it to our contact at
Yeah,
the,
we do it.
Leave it to the lawyer to figure it out like that, but we'll make sure we can get it done.
Okay, all right. Thank you all.
Thank you. So I have one more question. So how frequently do you think that perhaps the woodpeckers will play?
The woodpeckers are gonna play down the street here at the bistro.
Okay,
We're too loud for the outdoors.
okay, all righty. That's okay. I live next door to the bistro. Okay, so approval of the ditch run special event application. Do we have anybody who wants to say anything? Do you have a motion to make? Yes, sir, Councilor Murray.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the only question I have is, if they're gonna run on the ditches, how far are they gonna go? And do we need to block roads off and et cetera, et cetera?
I don't have a clue.
I don't either.
we do have the event organizers here, I believe Lane McIntyre and
Okay.
Maureen Cook.
Here we go.
We're gonna be utilizing, hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here and this consideration. We're gonna be utilizing the ditch banks going all the way northbound and to the top end of the village and all the way back with regards to the half marathon. Inside of the heart of the village, we're leaving from from the rec center and spreading out from that point on. All the maps are online as well, so you're welcome to browse through those. We haven't changed anything from the previous years, so we're doing the same we've always done in previous years as well. Does that reflect your?
Well, I was just curious, are we gonna block roads off if they have to cross over, to make sure that they don't get run over by somebody?
The biggest concern we have is simply, we're gonna have monitors everywhere at all the intersections where traffic and runners will interact. Our biggest concern has always been at Meadowlark and Lone Larga. And so we've asked for a higher presence there, both in our volunteers as well as alert to our police chief as far as what's going on there and keeping an eye on that. Not to say they're gonna dedicate somebody, but it's on their radar as a hot traffic spot for those reasons.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I remember that they've had volunteers at those crossings. If you ride your bike or walk in the mornings and when they're doing this, you'll see them and they're monitoring traffic and making sure there's not an issue. That's what I recall.
Exactly right.
Yeah. We sort of did this a little out of order. I didn't get a motion to approve. So do I have a motion to approve a ditch run, special event application?
Motion to approve the application for the ditch run.
Okay, I have a motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, and I have a second. I heard that. So Melanie, how do you vote?
Yes.
Counselor Mira,
Yes, sir.
Counselor Waldman,
Aye.
Counselor Alsabrook,
Aye.
Counselor Burkett,
Aye.
Counselor Murray.
You bet.
Okay, you are approved. We'll see you on the ditch. Now, for approval of professional services agreement with Main Street. Did Angela want to come or?
Well, she's here. We weren't sure if she
Oh,
needed
okay. You want
to
to
say
speak,
anything.
Angela? Oh, here, let's do this. I need a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Main Street.
So move.
Okay, I have two motions to approve in a second. Okay. So, Angela, you want to say something? It's pretty self-explanatory, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yes, so good evening. Yes, and just thank you. We appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, our board president Sue Evans here as well, so
I believe we do this every year.
we hope so. But yes, we do.
Okay.
And not
Did-
much, it's standard. So
Does anybody have any questions of Angela?
No, I mean, I think
Want to say that was a great job with Starry Night. It was beautifully planned and I'm sure it was a great success.
thank you. I have to pass that on to the committee because they're amazing. So we've
Yeah,
got
it
a
was a
lot
big
and all the
committee too, wasn't
support.
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and thanks to everybody who was able to make it. Thank you, Council.
Zach.
Knight.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just to echo Counselor Knight, I think that event very well represents what you guys bring to the village. I think it was a great event. It keeps getting better each year. I think it becomes more reflective of the people that live in the village every year. So you guys are doing the right stuff.
Thank you so much. I have to say, we did get approached by some new people to the village who want to, get involved and volunteer. And that's the kind of thing I think obviously that we're aiming to do, is bring people together and then, inspire community engagement. So we were very happy.
We are too. It's very good. Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody else want to make a comment or ask a question? Mel, do you have a question or any more comments?
I'm good.
Okay, how do you vote? Councilor Murray,
Aye.
Councilor Burkett,
Aye.
Councilor Alsabrook,
Aye.
Councilor Woolman,
Aye.
Councilor Mira,
Yes, sir.
Councilor Knight.
Aye.
Very good. Okay,
Right.
we are approved.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, this is a kind of a cleanup job here. This consideration, action, and approval of ordinance 22-03, chapter 18 regarding fences. We actually published and posted this some time ago, didn't we? And this was just some oversight within chapter 18 that we need to clarify and clean up. Do I have a motion to approve the ordinance?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve in a second. To approve the ordinance 22-03, chapter 18 regarding the fences. It's actually fence height, I guess you could say, but any questions or comments from any members of the council? Did anybody request to speak on this perchance?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll call a vote. Councilor Murray,
Aye.
Councilor Burkett,
Aye.
Councilor Alsabrook,
Yes.
Councilor Woolman,
Aye.
Councilor Miera,
Yes, sir.
and Councilor Knight.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. So at this time, I need a motion to go into closed executive session pursuant to the provisions of New Mexico Open Meeting Act adopted by the Village Council. Meeting pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1 H parentheses 7, the Village Council will convene an executive session, a meeting subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant. Do I have such motion?
Mayor, I move that we move into closed executive session.
That's good. How about a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Mel, how do you, Councilor Knight, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Miera,
Yes, sir.
Councilor Woolman,
Aye.
Councilor
I
Alsabrook,
do. or
Councilor
I-
Burkett,
Aye.
Councilor Murray.
Aye.
Use that one.
Okay, we are in executive session. Turn it off.
We may need to call Counselor Knight so I can turn off the microphone so people can't hear it out in the lobby.
You mean we have to
Okay.
turn her off? Difficult too.
To come up with messages. Waxing more philosophic. Right.
Well, I do have good help though. Yes.
Okay, we are back to
Okay,
recording.
Are we on? So I need a motion to come out of closed session.
Mayor, I move that we move into open session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to come out of closed executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1 H7. Village Council will come out of closed session. How do you vote? Councilor Murray?
Aye.
Councilor Burkett?
Aye.
Burkett? Councilor Alsabrook?
Aye.
Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Councilor Miera?
Yes, sir.
Do we have Melanie still on the phone?
Yes,
Okay, how do you vote?
aye.
Oh, there she is. Jeez.
Am I still loud? I'm just
Yeah.
making sure people-
Well, I heard this voice that sort of coming out of a suitcase, Okay, so we're out of executive session. No decisions were made while in executive session. Directions were given to our attorney. Did I say that? Okay. All right, so announcements and future agenda items, we have covered a few. Is there any that you want to stress? And also, let me say this, if you come to the office and you look at the whiteboard, you can sort of get an idea how we're trying to stagger this stuff. So we make sure we have reports that are appropriate. So, we've been joined by Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Oh, I didn't see you. Plus you have a mask on. So I have a whole list here. Yes, sir, Bill.
Did you want to go through your list first?
So what?
Did you want to go through your list first or should I? It's a brief one. Well,
Go ahead.
so Counselor Audio and I have spoken about the possibility of a discussion at the next agenda of microchipping for animals. It would be a basically an amendment to the existing ordinances.
We're looking into that actually.
Good.
And I'm not sure if did you send me an email? You may have sent me an email, but no, we're looking at that.
Okay.
They are required when we adopt animals out.
Yes.
And we're talking about just doing it to all of them that we get.
Yeah. So this would be when owners misplace their animals and animal services comes in and picks them up and before they're returned.
Right.
This would be microchipping as well.
We have to ask about what kind of anesthesia we need, don't we? Is that one
Well,
of the things?
No, there's no.
Can I ask a question? You are referring to just cats and dogs, right? We don't want to
Yes.
like try and microchip chickens
they're
or
all
anything
taken
like
care
that? Okay, I just wanted to clarify because you said all animals and I was like, well, we sometimes pick up odd animals like a goat or a chicken or,
Alpacas or.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that you weren't, because
I think, Mayor, I think perhaps we could limit it at this point to dogs and cats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What comes down the pike.
Anything
okay.
non-edible.
We have been discussing that actually.
Chipping chicken.
don't wanna
is a
buy
great
it.
way to turn it.
But there is no anesthesia involved
Okay.
in this.
I thought it was a pretty good sized needle.
No, it's just a little, it's
a
small.
It's like a COVID shot.
Well, it sort of depends on how you feel about needles.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Counselor Murray, do you have something?
Oh, no.
Counselor Burkett?
Nope.
Counselor Alsabrook?
I get pinged semi-regularly about Upper West Meadowlark. So it'd be great just to have a brief update next time.
And then now, didn't we
And not in
say-
particular,
we're doing a line of sight thing
Right.
on what day is that? Next week?
Next week.
Great.
So there's going to be a line of sight where you can, go by and see what's going on. In fact, it's going to be in the mayor's message. So people, we
Yeah, okay.
don't
August,
have people looking and,
I'll be
stopping,
sure to
and
relay
look,
that.
look,
Yeah.
whatever, rubbernecking.
I think they're doing it August 31st in the morning.
Mayor, I have a question. We received these invitations tonight. And I had received one by email to the preview of the art tour this weekend. If 4 members of the council show up and we only have 2 days, only 48 hours, how do we handle that?
What day is the preview? Is it Friday or Saturday?
It's Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday night. I don't know, Randy, do you?
Because it's not going to be an official meeting, I would just post first thing in the morning. A notice of potential quorum, but that no public business will be conducted and it's not a public meeting.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Living in a small village with all these activities, it's kind of hard to avoid conflicts like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but that's a good point. I'm glad you asked that. I didn't even think about it.
And the other thing is looking through the packet on the Casa Vieja application for the liquor license, and I've seen this before as well. State agencies believe that we have a different clerk in place.
I've notified them a
I don't know
couple
if
of
you-
times. Yeah.
You've talked with you. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Okay. There's no further business. I'll adjourn the meeting.
Good.